So these animals, they either decide to welcome us or they say like, go on, I want to rest.
Here we go, the 15-minute morning show podcast. Lots to cover today. In the room, we've got Scary.
What up?
In the other room, we've got Scotty B.
Hi.
Here's Gandhi.
Hi.
Andrew.
Oh, hi.
The Menace is here. And there's Garrett. And here's Scary. And here's Straight Nate is here. Mm-hmm. Do that again. And here's Scary.
Hi.
You're so weird. And our friend Vianney from Tanzania, Africa is joining us in just a few minutes. Can we start with Andrew, please? Yes. So you got a ticket for doing what?
Okay, so this happened in 2021. My car was towed after the iHeartRadio Music Festival 2021. There was a street festival that I did not know about. My car was towed. I go to pick up my car from the tow yard. Very traumatic experience. And there is a blank ticket on my windshield. So I've kept this ticket ever since because I'm like, there's nothing on this ticket. How do I know what I was charged with? So fast forward to 2 court dates later over Zoom, and I fought it today.
Yes.
So you had
Justice.
a court date on Zoom.
Yes.
I've never done a Zoom court date for tickets, but then again, I've never had a ticket.
Oh, wow.
Well, pin a rose on your nose.
How's your driver?
Anyway, so how was the experience? And what
Terrible.
happened? What do you mean?
So it's not fun. Zoom court is not fun. I've done Zoom jury duty. This is now Zoom court for me. It wasn't great. And I did it over here because I thought I could just be audio. And then they were like, you have to turn the camera on. And then it just so happened that you were walking by at the same time. And the judge I went to turn around and be like, I'm on court. And the judge screaming in my AirPods going, this is a court of law. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
See, you said, I'm talking to Korn. I was thinking Korn, the group, Korn with a K.
Yeah. We have a meeting.
So the judge was mad because I'm walking by?
Yes. He's like, are you not in a place where...
that judge can suck my ass.
Yes.
Wow.
You're in contempt,
He's
Duran.
terrible.
I'm not in contempt. I'm not in that stupid
You're in
idiot's
contempt.
court.
You're in contempt.
You're in contempt.
You're going to get Andrew triple fined by your words.
No, it's already done.
Who is it? Who's in the court?
Did you win?
So here was the thing. The ticket was blank, and I said this several times to him. And he was trying to test me like, well, would you rather this be in person then? I'm like, yeah, it should be in person because I have the blank ticket because I've saved it for 2 years. And he's like, well, the cop would not write a ticket and then submit it if it was blank. And I'm like, well, I have the evidence that says otherwise. And so I got a $10. He reduced the fine all the way. I think it was $250 to $10, and I pled guilty.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
What a nice judge.
$10.
I don't like this judge.
Do you have
He wasn't
points?
nice.
You get points on the license?
All right, well, let's move on. You don't want any of this stuff.
I don't know. Any interaction I've ever had with a judge, they lord over their authority like
They're
they
always
are
judging.
Yeah.
kings.
Right?
It's frightening.
It is.
You don't
I
wanna
wish
piss
to
them
be
off.
one someday.
Oh,
Be great.
you're our version of having a judge.
I would love it.
Well, anyway, so you're all done, but how
all done.
rude.
It's so rude. And Zoom court is not fun. I want to go in person because I would have held my ticket up and said, Your Honor, I submit this. I was ready for that moment, and I didn't have it.
Well, maybe try to follow the rules of parking.
Well, I didn't know there was a street festival in the middle of September. What are we celebrating?
Oh, you can appeal.
Ooh.
Oh, you can appeal.
Oh, you can appeal.
I know, but it's only...
And go there in person.
Well, here's the problem.
And
I
request
think
to
Andrew
go
should
there in
appeal the
person.
$10.
By the way, and now we welcome Vienna.
Hey!
Vianney, our attorney from Tanzania. The thing is, you don't want to appeal because it's only $10 and no points. Just pay the $10 and move.
Yeah, I'll keep
Right?
it moving. Yeah.
Okay.
Vianney would appeal. It's
Yeah, if I'm not happy with the outcome, I will definitely appeal.
Good for you. Fight the power.
Can you go back? Can you put Vianney in your Zoom room? Let him be your attorney.
Andrew's a
Done
regular
and
Perry
done.
Mason over here. Congratulations.
Yes.
Well,
$10.
I'm glad you got away with $10.
I had my Aaron
But that-
Brockovich moment. It was
Good
great.
job.
But that judge is a
Proud of you.
bitch.
He was.
Anyway,
Okay, bye.
so we welcome Vianney all the way from Tanzania. This is his 4th time in New York City, I think. I
Yes,
lose
4th
count.
time.
He loves New York because we get him trashed. No, he meets a lot of people. So Vianney, let's talk about it. Let's talk about going on safari. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. Go. Well, who wants to go?
Oh, I thought he was going to kick this off. All right. Has anybody on one of your tours or another tour ever been injured doing something stupid while on safari?
Yes. So recently, just before COVID, so there are people that went to South Africa and they're out on safari on their evening drinks, and they're honeymooners. So they want to take a picture with the rhino. Who does that on safari? So they came out of the vehicle and they went and approached this white rhino.
Oh
And
no!
they started like taking pictures, and the rhino charged and injured,
With the
the
horn?
husband,
Like
yeah.
they got gored?
yeah.
I mean, isn't the rhino
What?
one of the most dangerous animals in the world?
among because they are very aggressive. So these people provoked the rhino. So the rhino didn't really had an option, because animals, they'll always defend. Animals are like
course.
human beings.
Isn't the white rhino extinct?
Clearly not.
Not extinct, they're still there. The black rhino is endangered. The white rhino is also endangered. But with the rhinos, there are subspecies of them. So the white northern rhino.
I read this. There's
yeah.
only women left.
Women, two,
two.
mother and
This-
daughter.
Mother and daughter,
and-
that's it.
Yeah, so the man died, so he couldn't breed with them because they're all his daughters. So that part of it, it's almost disappearing now.
It's a
Vi-
bummer.
Scary. Okay, first of all, what's the difference between extinct and endangered?
Extinct means they're in the past. There's no living species of that, right? And endangered means they're on a path to being extinct.
Exactly.
So I didn't realize that. I thought that since there's 2 women left and no guys to
Women.
impregnate the woman, then there's not going to be females. There's not going to be any more white rhinos pretty soon.
Well, it's fair.
Yeah, so
that
your
part.
theory is correct.
Yeah.
Because so we call that, even though there are 2 left, but they won't breed. So we call them as extincted already.
Yeah.
Because theoretically there won't be any more of the white rhinos in the
Sad.
northern race of the white rhinos. So
Whose
they're
fault is that?
humans.
Poachers.
Yeah.
If we can bring back a woolly mammoth, which they're trying to do, why can't we bring back the white rhino? That seems more important.
So they're looking into that option. They're looking to do some biological thing in the lab and see if they can bring some of them out.
Lab-grown rhinos.
Yeah,
I love
so,
this.
But it won't really be wild. So
Here's
they're
a heavier
looking at
question
the
for you.
options.
How has climate change affect what you do? How has the warming of the planet changed, I don't know, migrations or the water that's available for the animals? How has that changed?
Oh, it has changed a lot, and you can see the impact even as today. So I'll talk as for the wildebeest migration. So the wildebeest migration follows green pastures or grasses and water. So we have had shortage of rain for the last few years. So the cycle of the migration has really not been, as it used to be, like for the last 10, 15 years. So they were supposed to be up in the down southern side where they give birth. So they were there in December and there was no rain. It just started raining like late December for like few days. It stopped. And then January, there was no rain. So they were waiting for February, like end January, early February, so that they can start dropping their babies. There was no rain. So that means these babies cannot really survive. Luckily, the wildebeest can synchronize their birth. When I say that, I mean they can hold their babies in their stomach for up to 2 months. So they had to do that, but some of them had to drop because, it's you have to do it for you to be able to move on. So some of the baby survived, some of the babies didn't survive. So the rain has been a big problem. You go up north where they're crossing the Mara River. Last year when I was there, for the first 2-3 months, the river did not have enough water. So the wildebeest were going easily, but the crocodiles that depends on the water to hunt, they couldn't do lots of huntings because there's not enough water for them to be able to do that. So that made the crocodiles not to be able to eat. They can feed on fish and other small things, but if they get a meal like a wildebeest, that keeps them going for up to a year, 6 months to a year without eating. Because, crocodiles, they have very slow heartbeat. That is one heartbeat up to 2, sometimes even 4 minutes.
Wow.
So they hibernate very well. So if they don't have enough water for them to be able to hunt, they will go for smaller things, and then they won't go for bigger things. So that also somehow gives them a bit of a problem because they've been feeding on the wildebeest for years as they've been doing that. Yeah.
That's
so sad.
incredible.
It is incredible. And by the way, is that the same river you just mentioned? Is that the river that we were?
Yes, that's the river we did the other
It's
day.
a fascinating thing, and you see a lot of people who run safari waiting on the bank for all the wildebeest to jump off the cliffs and get the courage to come over to keep the migration going. The problem is they're waiting for like one to start it. So they're all on the bank going,
You do it. You do it. You go.
you go first, you go first. And then it could take days, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they can just go over. It just depends on like how brave they are. But when they go in the water, they know that there could be crocodiles or alligators. Which one is it?
Crocodiles.
Crocodiles in the water or whatever. It's a weird thing to watch. We waited for a long time, but once they start coming over, and you can look up videos of this. Vianney will tell you.
Yeah,
you can
I
see
have the videos on my Instagram page.
I mean, there's thousands of them coming over the cliffs into the water to start the migration again. It's fascinating. It's incredible.
I watched a whole documentary about that specific moment. I think it's either like Death on the River Mara or River Mara Death something. And it's all about exactly what you guys are talking about, which is this giant migration and how the crocodiles just wait. And it's chaos. It was amazing.
It's one of my favorite thing to watch in the bush. Like almost all of my safaris, if they come between July and October, I'll always take them to see that. It's very nice to watch. It can take time as you wait, but once it happens, you have thousands of them going. So it's really, really something that I always wish people to see.
So
It is fascinating. There's so many things to see and look. And keep in mind, sometimes while you're on safari, are you okay? Okay.
Panic.
When you're on safari, there's a lot of waiting. Sometimes you have to wait. You have to be patient. You can go out to this really huge grassy field and just wait for
Awesome.
that lion to find something to tackle, and it's a lot of waiting, right? But
Patience and waiting. That's when we test people, the level of waiting. Like, I always say we are visitors. So these animals, they either decide to welcome us or they say like, go on, I want to rest. So there's nothing much you can do. You just wait for the animal to do the action. And if you're patient enough, you always get a reward at the end.
I was reading a story.
Hello.
Hey.
puberty.
I was reading a story the other day, Vianney, that some animal numbers are actually increasing, like elephants. Are you seeing that in the bush? Are you seeing there's more animals, or is there fewer?
Yeah, so there are species that their numbers are really going high, like elephants, in some areas. Our national parks authorities and the government have taken lots of measures to empower the rangers to be able to work easily to fight the poachers. For example, a park called Tarangire National Park. Back like late 80s, they had very few elephants, probably maybe around 3,000, even less. But as we speak, that park has got about 7,000 elephants. So the population of the elephant in that particular park has gone very, very high. And this is the funny thing. Poachers, so we have a big tree called baobab tree. Baobab tree can be like half of this room, like massive. We have some that even 100 people have to go around to be able to hold hands.
It's so cool.
And they live for about 300 years. Mm-hmm. So poachers discovered that these trees are hollow inside. So what poachers used to do, they cut the bark of the tree and they go inside of that tree and they live there.
In the tree?
In the tree.
Just waiting for things to come by and kill them.
Waiting for the duck to come, and they come out and they go and hunt. So the park was able to know that.
Wow.
So they started tracking them using trees as well. So if you go to Tarangire National Park, you will see some of the baobab trees that poachers actually cutted them down, like to have that entrance into the tree to be able to hide in there.
It's like the Keebler elves
Oh my God.
of poachers. So, I mean,
They're killing elephants.
is poaching less, more, or still the same problem as it was 10, 20 years ago?
It's less more because now technology is advancing. People are now donating lots of funds to try and keep the animals alive. Now they use choppers, they use planes to do patrols. foot patrols. They have the camping gears that they can go for days out in the bush and patrol. So now the poaching is getting less into other animals, but it's getting more into rhinos.
Ugh.
So rhinos are now really endangered because of poachers. People really poaching them because they believe with the aphrodisiac it helps men. So the value of it has really gone high into the market.
Can't they take Viagra?
I know, seriously.
See, Alice?
People are the
See,
worst.
Alice? I hate people.
Have you ever came toe to toe with a poacher?
Yes, I have. I have few times. Like back in 2014, 2012, and somewhere around 2016, 17 there.
How does that work out?
We just let them be.
Oh.
Yeah.
They'll kill you.
Do you report
Yeah.
them? Or?
Yeah, you report them. You report them to the rangers. You give them the location, and most of the ones that I saw, they were actually caught.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I reported them. I gave out their location, and the pack came in and they tracked them and they got them. But
Look,
because you're having people in your vehicle, you don't want to provoke them.
Right.
So what you do, just let them, be, and you go on. You pretend like you didn't see them. You are not having any issues with them, and then as soon as you are far away, you call the rangers. They always have their numbers out that you can reach the anti-poaching unit, and then they will come.
Okay.
It's so much fun to go on safari, especially with Vienna, and everyone can do it. It's not something everyone else can do, and you can't. Everyone can go on safari, and it does change your life. If you check out Elvis Duran Show on Instagram, all of Vienna's information is there waiting for you. You can see not only how you can contact Vienna and talk about the possibility of going on safari, but also all of his photography. He's become quite the photographer. And so his wildlife photography is second to none. Vienna, we love you. Thanks for being a part of our
Thank you so much.